Here are 3 quick, easy ways that you become the number 1 performer in your area. So there's a really great book called Blue Ocean Strategy. And in this book, it gives the metaphor about how all the sharks would go to one area in the ocean and fight over all the fishes that are in that area. And when that happens, it becomes an absolute bloodbath, right? All the sharks are just fighting over this fish, that fish. And what tends to happen, as I mentioned, it becomes a red ocean. And what would be smart is if one of those sharks were to see that, wow, there's a lot of competition over here, and they go to another part of the ocean and see that there aren't any other sharks, to then go and feed on the fishies that's there. In other words, leave the competition, leave the area where all the other sharks are, and go find a place where there aren't any other sharks. So that way, you could be the number 1 dominant force in that area. Now, let's take this to business. If you're not creating a new niche, a new, let's say, demographic, a new avatar, to a degree, if you will, there's a good chance that you're fighting over the scraps that all the other people are commandeering, taking over, if you will. I think a great example of this is with the iPhones. Because Apple is such a big company, any new company that comes out and tries to create a phone or whatever the case it may be, they're not going to have much success because Apple has become the dominant force in that area. There's actually a new phone that was created that you probably don't even know about. Amazon. They created a phone, I want to say back in maybe 2015 or 2018, called the Fire Phone. And again, you don't know about it because it had absolutely no chance of surviving because that market was already dominated by another big fish called Apple. Now, how does this work for you? Well, I want you to look at how you do business, and I want you to find a new problem that your customers don't even know exists. And that is something that was taught in the book Play Bigger. And I think you should really check that one out as well. When you find a problem that they don't even know that they have, and then you solve that problem, it's hard for them to not see that problem as a problem anymore. A great example is with Uber. Before Uber, no one had a problem with waving down taxis and trying to wait for someone to come pull aside and give them a ride. But Uber saw this as an issue because you have to wait and fight for other people that are looking for taxis. So what did they do? Well, they created a taxi that you can order from your phone and it's coming straight to you, and they're not going to pick up anybody else. So it cut out the middleman, being the other people that you're almost like fighting over for position, for taxis and things like that. By doing that, they superseded, they completely took over a market known as car share, taxis, and things of that nature. Because of that, the world will never be the same. The world will never go back to not having Uber. And even to a degree, Lyft, that came after Uber, is nowhere near as successful as Uber because Uber was the first one to hit that market. All right. So for you to become the number 1 person in your field, no matter if you're in sales or if you're in a coach, if you're an author, if you're a consultant, whatever it is, create a new problem to be solved. Create a new market, create a new avatar. Just be different. By doing that, there is no number 2. There is no competition because you're the only one in this blue ocean. And that is a quick and easy way to become the number 1 person in your field. All right, second, and this one is one of my favorites. Become an absolute beast when it comes to gaining knowledge. Be unrelentless when it comes to your pursuit of gaining new information. When you do this, no one can stop you. So I want you guys to think about this, right? Someone has spent 20 to 30 years specializing in one topic. And what they do is they go through and they learn all the studies that help support this one topic that they're learning. And you know what they go and do? They go and they create a book that's about 300 pages, and they put 20 to 30 years that they've learned into a book that you can right now buy for $15. Think about that. You're going to get 30 years of knowledge condensed in maybe 2 weeks if it takes you 2 weeks to read a book, but nonetheless, $15, $20, maybe $30. You're going to get that. And by doing that over and over and over again, you can leverage the information of some of the brightest minds in the world. So one of the best places that I would tell you to start to visit, someplace that I love to visit, Barnes and Noble. And I say that because when you go into the bookstore, you're going to come across books that you've never seen before. Yes, you could go on Amazon, but I love going in person and grabbing the books because let's face it, I don't know exactly what to type into Amazon to get like a specific book, if you will. Not saying that I can't search books, but they're going to be a book here or there that I never even thought about researching. By going into the store in person, I get access to some of the brightest minds. And then I may actually go and add them to my cart on Amazon, but you get the point. Make this a place of refuge for yourself. And not only that, don't skimp on buying people's courses and guides and things like that on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all that stuff. Purchase those items. Do not shortchange yourself, because the only thing that you're going to be doing is procrastinating and taking even longer in this stuck place that you call being stagnant, or being stuck, if you will. So one thing that I will offer you, just because you're listening to this podcast, is a free masterclass where I talk about the 7 steps, right? The 7 secrets to build an ironclad confidence, even if you suffer from anxiety, self-doubt, or imposter syndrome. And this is designed for entrepreneurs and working professionals. So check that out. Again, it's absolutely free, but you have to pursue that knowledge. Just like I talked about in this secret, about going to the bookstore and just start reading, man. Become an avid reader. All right, number 3, and the final secret to become the number 1 performer in your area. It goes to a saying by the IB CEO named Thomas Watson. He had a famous quote that said this: "To be successful, double your rate of failure." That is something that I absolutely love, because it gives me the grace, it gives me the permission to not be great. It gives me the permission to go out there and take action and fall on my face. Everyone that you know, and I say this in plenty of podcasts, but I'm saying it again, everyone that you know that is successful has failed. So why do you feel that you are different from any of those other people? The feelings that you feel, I want you to start to give yourself grace for. By doing that, it's not going to necessarily take the pain away, which is not what we're trying to do. What we're trying to do is give ourselves the strength to be with this pain. When you do that, you start to unlock a different level of strength that other people don't have. Because the people that are truly strong, they allow themselves to be vulnerable and to feel pain. The people that are weak, they stay away from pain. It's like, man, that is too risky. Why in the world would I want to feel something uncomfortable? I'm just going to stay in my comfort zone. But the people that you know and I know that are in their comfort zones, very rarely are they fulfilled. We as humans, we love to progress. And if you're not progressing, one could probably say that you're not happy. So double your rate of failure. Go out there and implement the knowledge that you learned in step 2, right? So learning from the books and the strategies, the courses, the webinars. Learn from that stuff. Go out there and double your rate of failure. So if you're doing, let's say, 2 podcasts a week, see if you can do 4. If you're doing 5 sales calls a week, see if you can do 10. Whatever it is, just increase the number of times you're taking action, and let's see what happens from there, because you're going to gain a lot of clarity and a lot of helpful data. And from that data, you can actually see what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. And I actually will add a little bit. This may be a 4th step, but I'll keep it a step 3. When you go out and fail, do yourself a great favor and be very objective with that failure. Look at exactly what you did and see what you could have done better. Don't look at whether or not you sucked, you blew it up, you failed. That stuff doesn't matter. What really matters is, what did I actually do that actually made this a success, a failure, whatever the case may be, and pull from those things. Because if you did a sales call, a presentation, whatever it is, there's something that you did throughout that process that actually went well. And I want you to duplicate that process over and over and over again. Now, there are also going to be things that you didn't do well. If that's the case, reinvent that. Learn from it. See if you can get someone to look at what you did and give you advice and restructure whatever it was that you didn't do well. Do these things and you will start to see progress in whatever it is that you were just failing at. And that's how you become a subset. You start to find yourself in the subset of people that are experts in their craft. So those are the 3 things that you can do to become a top performer in your field. Create a new demographic, right? Create a new ocean, a new place to basically be the expert in, right? A new market, right? Become like a huge bookworm. Become unrelentless when it comes to learning. Like, keep your head in a book. And number 3, just simply double your rate of failure. Do those 3 things, and over the course of time, no one's going to stand in your way. So this is Coach Wells. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this podcast. As I mentioned below, I'm also going to add a free masterclass that you can check out, where I give you the 7 secrets to build an ironclad confidence. So guys, this is Coach Wells, and I'll see you later.